So recently, just a few months back, new education policy has been declared out by the central government, and I wanted to make one confluence of this new education policy with the creativity and innovation, because if someone would have read the new education policy in like almost each and every page is having these two words, creativity and innovation. This is inherent property, and but we can substantially increase creativity and innovation as a teacher to the students. So I'm teacher, you all are teacher, and even whosoever watching this video later on, I mean everyone is teacher in some way, directly and indirectly. So I will correlate this new education policy with the neurobiology in the perspective of creativity and innovation. Okay, so let me have this, my first slide. Change is the law of life. It was a famous statement by John F. Kennedy. Hence, the same is true for the policies, guidelines, rules, and regulations as per the need of the hour in rapidly changing and unevenly distributed world. That's why you might have seen the situation when there are amendments in the parliamentary, amendments in the parliament. Rule regulation keep coming, especially nowadays when the coronavirus problem is ongoing everywhere. That's why new policies, guidelines keep coming. So the same way, this new education policy is one of them. So now the importance of education has been highlighted by a lot of parliaments and lot great visionary people. So our father of nation Mahatma Gandhi has said, by education I mean an all-round drawing of the best in child and man in body, mind and spirit. Similarly, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, who was very phenomenal person in crafting this education policy in the post-independence India, he says a life of joy and happiness is possible only on the basis of knowledge and science. And today we are fortunate to have 89th birthday of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He was the best teacher also. He says some of the brightest minds in the country can be found in the last benches of the classroom, and that makes a sense, when not everyone, the topper students does make a sense sometime, okay. And similarly, Vivekananda, Rabindranath Tagore, Albert Einstein, and Dalai Lama, they all have given their statements time to time with the emphasis of education. So my structured presentation of this time will be having first new education policy. So I will be covering meanings of education, the need of education for the nation building, basic and higher education scenarios, like both way for children and for university system, then salient features of NEP 2020, then challenges of NEP 20. This is again, to be done. What will be the challenges, how we can accomplish. Then I will be taking my further talk with the creativity and innovation. What is this? And then brain biology of creativity and innovation, how the brain, this is my part also, my basic is in the brain biology. Then creativity innovation, how we can inculcate in the students, and how teachers should be ready to face this creativity and innovation, the meanings, definitions, and the teacher should understand this creativity innovation, and the need of reforms of examination system, which will affect both the student and teacher. So this will be my index policy, education policy on education. So this new education policy recently was third new education policy was released by present government, Modi's government, on 29 July. Before that, first NPE was declared in the regime of Mrs. Indira Gandhi 1968. Second education policy was in the time of Rajiv Gandhi 1986. And there was further amendment by P.V. Narasimha Rao ji in 1992, and that was called extension or modified in the second national policy on education. So recently on 29 July it is being declared, and now we have a scenario for upcoming decade, how we have to reshape and reset the education system in our country, so that we can have a refined version of human resource, and we should have better human resource and students. I must also not forget the contribution of our former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh ji. On August 4th 2009, his government made this Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009, which laid down the legal underpinnings of achieving universal elementary education for the children between age of 6 to 14 years in India. And this was Article 21A of Indian Constitution. So this has also helped achieving this, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, means कोई भी बच्चा ना रह जाए education से, at least सभी को elementary education मिले. Now, new education policy के craftsmen, we see then in 2015, T.S.R. Subramaniam, he was former Chief Secretary in the Cabinet, senior bureaucrat. He was given the task of drafting this new education policy. Because he was a bureaucrat, senior bureaucrat and IAS officer, he gave his recommendation in 2016. But due to some reason and due to some unforeseen situation, the draft was not accepted, and later on in 2017 probably Kasturi Rangan sir, his Padma Vibhushan and former chairman of Indian Space Research Organization, he was given the task to make new education policy draft, and he was having 9 members on the board, including several vice chancellors and intellectual people in the board. So these K. Kasturi Rangan committee made this draft new education policy, which was released in 2019 for the public for their opinion and suggestions, and in 2020 it is being declared by the government. So now, so what is education? Education is, I like this statement of Albert Einstein, education is what remains after one has forgotten everything he learnt in the school. So the same way it is true, like we keep forgetting whatever we have learnt in the schooling, but on the basis we develop our mind, and that mind is now ready to face the world, to take any challenge. So whatever we read during our schools and colleges, we don't use it in future course of time. Rather we become efficient to do any task. Okay, so if we see the education meanings on the internet, it says that the process of receiving or giving systematic instruction, especially at school. Similarly, the theory and practice of teaching, a body of knowledge acquired. The several definitions, and all are correct in some way or another. There's also somewhere, I like this statement, education in its general sense is a form of learning in which the knowledge, skill and habits of a group of people are transferred from one generation to the next. Okay, and education is preparing a person to face everyday life. See, it could be true that in the past several illiterate who have never seen the school were also having very moral, sensible, innovative and creativity. Even today exceptions are there, but for the mass, for the public, education is necessary. Like we cannot omit this, that without education someone can achieve. So now, what are the principles of NEP? The purpose of education system is to develop good human being capable of capable of making a person of thoughts and action, possessing compassion and empathy, courage, resilience, scientific temperament, creative imagination, with sound ethical moorings and values. It aims at producing engaged, productive and contributing citizen for building an equitable means equity means everyone is equal, inclusive and plural society. Inclusive, so like not even a single person is left in the education, in the plural society. So this is the envisioned ideas of our constitution, why education should be there. Now come to this gross enrollment ratio. GER. GER is like how many students are enrolled. So right now it is almost 26% only students goes till the graduation. So if we see this class 1 to 5th, almost 100% children are going to school. Only 86% goes up to class 6 and 8. Then there's a decline at every step. Then 9 to 12, only 76% students are able to go toward this. And only 26, there's a drastic change here, remember. So only 20, means 76% are left behind and they undergo graduation. 8 to 9% undergo post-graduation. And doctoral and PhD less than 1%. So now there's a need of making this undergraduation to 26% to 50% in coming decade or so, as quickly as possible. So now there's a need of an increase in the gross enrollment right now. So India, like as I told you, only this much. This is 2011 data, 17%. Right now it is up to 26% in 2019. So this is the data of 2011. China global average is 26%. So in 2011 we were less than global average. And USA, Australia, UK, these are developed countries, so there are more graduates, I can say. Now coming to the number of universities, so when India got independence in 1947, there were only 241,000, okay, in 20 universities in the undergraduation, and there were only 496 colleges. Right now it is several thousand colleges and almost 1,000 universities in 2020, including all central, private, deemed and state universities. This is variable, and almost every month few universities are coming up. And even now some colleges are having more than 1,000 colleges affiliated. That gives them slow pace. So now new education policy has given recommendation that not more than 300 colleges should be there with one university, so that there will be hazeless this running of the university system. Now coming to a little bit about school education for children. So initially it was like this: elementary education, then class 6 to 16, class 10th, and then 12. Right now this is very much vocally given in the media that there will be foundational education of first 3 years, like kindergarten, pre-primary and primary, then class 1 and 2, 5 year. Then class 3rd, 4th and 5th will be preparatory. Then class 6th, 7th and 8th will be middle. And then secondary education, class 9th to 12th, and then graduation. So this will be now we will be following soon. Now state-wise, few government, I think 10 state governments has given clear indication right now to Minister of Education, which was previously MHRD, that they will be implementing this any new education policy as early as possible. Similarly, other states will also join hand with the government. So now new education policy related to school education, they're going to restructure school curriculum and pedagogy in 5+3+3+4 design. Holistic development of learner they will emphasize. So not only one directional, holistic. Now reduce curriculum content, because आपने देखा होगा बैग काफी भारी होते हैं स्टूडेंट्स के. Curriculum कम करना है. Focus on experimental learning. This we have to increase rather than rod and theory. Experimental learning is increased. No hard separation among curricular, extracurricular and core curricular. So right now curricular is more, but we have to now encompass all these 3 components at par: curricular, extracurricular and co-curricular in the students. That's why we can reduce the weight of the bag. And there should be greater flexibility in the 3 language formula, and no language will be imposed on any state. Okay, this is already being told by the government again and again. There will be no formula, but being polyglot or knowing more than one language is good neurobiologically also. Okay, so now curricular and co-curricular and extracurricular, these 3 words are very frequently being used in the school education onward. So it will lead to the spiritual growth. Spiritual, I'm not telling religious, it is spiritual growth, that is scientifically proven for best cognitive mind. So spiritual, being spiritual is good. It will lead to the better communication problem, not problem, better communication understanding. It will strengthen critical thinking. It will increase the critical thinking and creative thinking. That will lead to a more cognitive person. So we will have a better human resource in the future. The integration of knowledge, we have to integrate the knowledge, interdisciplinary approach we have to use. Unlike previous time that parents used to say my child will become a doctor or only engineer, now there will be immediate kinds of new courses. Intercultural engagement, this is very necessary because India is rich in heritage and cultures. It's huge country and you can see a lot of difference from east to west, north to south. So we have to leave them. The leadership development, professional preparedness and self-sufficiency. This all we have to now adopt in a new education policy. National curriculum framework for school education will be formed. Teacher eligibility test will be strengthened, and more frequently one teacher will be having a lot of continuous trainings for the upgradation of the knowledge. Okay, a common guiding set of national professional standards for teachers will be developed. So every teacher has to upgrade by going through these tests year by year, and then there will be equitable and inclusive education learning for all. Now, due to this COVID period right now, all of a sudden there has arisen a need for ICT, information communication technology, by which way, like unlike you all could have been there at UGC HRDC College of JNU today, or myself would have been there personally, we are joining on the through the computer. So now many things will be, this corona problem has unfortunately given, and then we have to continue it because now we will be habitualized. And I wonder in next coming years or so, probably more education of theoretical part will be completed by the computer-based system only, and probably more practical knowledge we will be doing in a classroom teaching or going to the university and colleges. So probably now we will be more clever to use this way. So now curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular, these are like homework, tuition, project, are curricular. Co-curricular like spell bee competition, Rubik Cube, Olympiad, and extracurricular are habit of sports, dance, music, arts, scouting, National Cadet Corps, working in the NSS National Service Scheme. So we will be having a mix of everything to make a holistic approach, okay, and miscellaneous also. So now we are believing that we will be having education scenario with all these systems. Now coming to the higher education, for which purpose we are working in a university system. So far there were three-pronged situation to control this higher education: policy making, regulation and accreditation. So for policy making, there were Department of Human Resource Development, MHRD, Higher Education Department, Association of Indian Universities, then several state councils of higher education. Regulation was done by UGC in major, then AICTE, MCI, PCI, these are other bodies, ICR, ICMR giving medical education and medical research related state regulators. Accreditation major weightage was for this NAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council. NAC is in Nagavavi, Bangalore. Okay, that is even now being used every 5 years or so to visit each university to give them NAC rating. And NBA, of course, National Board of Accreditation. So higher education plays an extremely important role in promoting human as well as societal well-being and in developing India's ambition in its constitution, a democratic, socially conscious, cultured and humane nation, upholding liberty, equality, fraternity and justice for all. Like, this is the mandate for which we are having this education system. Higher education significantly contributes towards sustainable livelihood because we learn livelihood by this way. Like, we all are teachers or professors. Economic development of the nation, ultimately, that is our ultimate vision. As India moves towards becoming a knowledge economic society, so more and more young Indians are likely to aspire for higher education. Now, major problems in the higher education system. What was the need? Why we have come up to this new education policy? It means there was something necessity, something was lacking behind. See, nothing is perfect in the world. Whenever the new education policy, second policy would have been given, it would have been given with 100%, best minds. But the technology is changing, time period is changing, uncertainty in the world is increasing. Like this year, since last 7-8 months, when this corona problem has come up, now everything is reset. It means life is dynamic, and it should be upgraded time to time. So right now there's a fragmented higher education ecosystem. You can understand there are several kind of universities, there are several kind of mindset, there are several kind of organizations, and they have their own autonomy, and they're taking advantage of this. Less emphasis on the development of cognitive skills and learning outcome. This is being found as per the need of 2020 cognitive skills coming, and that is the very notorious and very sad to say that in India you might have heard that up to 80-90% engineers, BTech or PE, coming from common colleges, they even can't open a laptop or mobile phone. It means they are just BTech, but they can't do, in practically they even can't fit a bulb in the home, okay? It means somewhere we are lacking this skill. They are given only theoretical approach, probably. Rapid separation of disciplines with early specialization and streaming of students into narrow areas of study. Rapid separation, okay? The limited access, particularly socio-economically disadvantaged area. Even now, we are not equitable, education system. Still few districts, few places are still having, very paucity of educational institutions and bodies. Limited teacher and institutional autonomy. Limited teacher means teachers की अभी भी कमी है. There is no 1:10 ratio. कहीं पे तो 1:100 भी होगा. Inadequate mechanisms for merit-based career management and preparation of faculty and institutional leader. Less emphasis on research. This is also major because money constraint is there, and university colleges are running less research, less effective regulatory system. I mean to say, like recently, just few days back, UGC has given a list of some 25 plus universities. Those are fake universities. Now I was wondering while reading that news, like UGC can stop, and every year they release this list of 25 or 30 universities in different states saying that these are fake. But who will stop them? UGC cannot stop them. UGC cannot give them a fine, or I mean, no one can stop it. Still, those universities are flourishing in the country. They are fooling a lot of students, and they are pouring forgery. So it means there's something effective regulatory system. Large affiliating universities resulting in low standards of undergraduate education. So NEPs need to overhaul and re-energizing of the higher education. So moving toward a higher education system consisting of large multidisciplinary universities. Okay, so there's a need, like each and every district should have one higher education institute, each and every district. Moving towards more multidisciplinary undergraduate education, multidisciplinary, that's why there will be now no sharp boundaries that science, biology, mathematics, commerce. Now, any students, like in new education policy, there will be beauty that any student can take any subject of his or her choice. Revamping curriculum, pedagogy assessment and student support, reaffirming the integrity of faculty and institutional leadership positions through merit appointment of teachers, research, and even vice chancellors. There should be merit-based approach. Okay, unfortunately, it is not so in some places. Okay, establishment of National Research Foundation (NRF). NRF will fund outstanding peer-reviewed research and actively seed research in university and colleges. It will increase access, equity, and inclusion through a range of measures, including greater opportunities for outstanding public education, scholarships, etc. And then there will be more emphasis on online education. So thank God for this corona. We have already started this online education. In abroad it was so. Already I was seeing when I was doing my postdocs in abroad. In India, by 2019, most of the universities were reluctant, and they were saying that already lot of unemployability is there. So we have lot of good teachers all around. So why we should go to online education? But now, this due to coronavirus, now everyone has come onto this online education platform, and then there will be open distance learning. So one can do some study even while doing some employability. So there will be no need of taking leave or something. And then governments of higher education instituted by high qualified independent boards, that is given in the new education policy, there will be independent boards having academic and administrative autonomy. So, they want to give autonomy. Remember, TSR Subramaniam's new education policy was having one civil servants cadre of who will run the education institute. That was the theme of that new education policy first draft, and that was the more questionable, and that's why government didn't accept it. They say already why we should make new civil servants cadre for running the education institute. So it was given that only and only the senior professors or senior academicians should be given the leadership or administrative capabilities to run a university, and then there will be no need of like another kind of IS officer to run the university. That was one of the demerit. That's why that first draft was not make a sense for the government. Light but tight. Okay, this is the regulator for higher education theme of this. Then moving towards faculty and institutional autonomy. Now there will be academic bank of credits. This is new things which was already in the abroad. Now one can earn lot of credits by running and learning through the MOOCs courses online, massive open line courses, or doing some course from a university A and then going to university B, and by showing the credits one can be declared graduate or PG like that. So there will be no such foundation that at the same university you have to spend 3-4 years continuously. So there will be now credit transfer, and there will be a lot of technology will be used to give better communication between the students and teacher. NRF formation is one of the good omen that will fund the research, and it will give NEP 2000 will give gender inclusion fund, special education zones, and disadvantaged regions and groups. So there will be emphasis over this. Okay, and then affiliation system to be phased out in 15 years with graded autonomy. Like slowly this affiliation system will go away, and every college and university will be independent. Okay, so salient features: research intensive universities we have to make, research plus innovation plus teaching intensive university. Two separate kind of universities with their teaching or research intensive. Stage-wise mechanism of granting graded autonomy to colleges. Government wishes to give more autonomy, more independency to big colleges. Growth will be in both public and private institutions, and probably more in the private institution now onwards. Even now government wants that at least more than 100 private universities should be from rich people, or like Ambani, Adani, big Pilanis with the Birla group and Jindal, and then HP group has Shivnadar University is also there. So like all rich organizations or these private funded university should come up, so that at least for their own organization, like Geo University, if you see for example, like Geo can have its own curriculum, own kind of students, and then he can give employability directly to its own university. So this way private institutions should be more in coming period. The overall higher education sector will aim to be an integrated higher education system. Integrated means there will be a lot of integration. Professional and vocational education will be given more emphasis, and then we expect the university should give each and every person with some profession, so that they are running their own livelihood and they are having better employability, and no one is berozgar, we can say. हर एक के पास अपना एक जॉब है. So they will be towards thrust on the holistic and multidisciplinary education, flexible curricular structure, means there will be multiple entry and exit. Now, like in graduation, one can leave even after 1 year and one can get a diploma. Okay, if somebody is having 2 year, then degree and like that. So same way, like multiple entry and exit points. Flexible and innovative curricula will be credit-based courses, like you have to earn credit, maybe from University A, University B, still we can join together and you can be awarded graduation. There will be more emphasis on environmental education because now environment degradation is a big problem in the world. So there will be more sensitization of young minds with the climate change, pollution, waste management, sanitation, conservation of biological diversity, management of biological resources, biodiversity, forest and wildlife conservation. Like these things should be for everyone. So it is to make a person, justifiable for the society. Like a student should understand its own ecosystem also. So each and every student should have this. Now UG degree will be either 3 or 4 year duration with multiple exit points. So like if a student can leave even after 1 year, then diploma certificate can be given. If he or she complete 2 year study, then diploma, bachelor's degree after 3. And if he or she complete 4 year, then bachelor degree program with the research can be given. Okay, so there will be full flexibility. And this piggy bank, academic bank of credit, ABC, which is a very good thing, So degree with the research will be for 4 year, and one can keep a new credits of. And then there will be no MPhil program now onward because graduation could be like 4 year. Okay, and if someone is completing 4 year bachelor degree with the research, then 1 year master's program, and then one can go directly PhD. And now already few IISER, Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, IC Bangalore and few other institutes are giving directly integrated UG PG program, and then from there directly one can jump to the doctoral degree. Okay, so we have to give financial assistance and scholarship to socio-economic disadvantaged students, conduct outreach on higher education, make admissions and curriculum process more inclusive, increase employability potential, that is again need. Right now it is a big problem and big headache to the government, unemployability. Ensure all buildings and facilities are wheelchair accessible. This is for, the people are shy if they are physically challenged. So they will not be left behind in this, new education policy. So wheelchair accessibility and this all. Bridge courses will be coming up for disadvantaged educational background students. Provide socio-emotional and academic support to give wider coverage. Then ensure sensitization of faculty, counselor and students on gender, identity issue and inclusion. This is, very much necessary, like to avoid some mishappenings, and some crimes. Now there will be NRF will be very good initiative of this NEP. This will fund a lot of, worthy or capable, professors or teaching faculty. Okay, and this will be governed by rotating board of governors, and then governors will be only from the researcher and innovators field. Mean they will be like senior professors or educators only. It will not be governed by some civil servants kind of thing. It is to facilitate that justifiable, implementation is necessary, because only a professor can understand the field of another professor or younger professor. Okay, and then Department of Science and Technology, even few other government funding agencies will remain as such. Now Higher Education Commission of India, it will be now commission, just like a commission of Election Commission. Election Commission, the power of Election Commission during the election period, they even overcome the power of administrator of even IS people. So that commission becomes so empowered. So now Higher Education Commission of India will be very highly empowered, that can have a even punitive power not only suggestive but punitive power. There will be four, verticals: National Higher Education Regulatory Council, NHERC. Okay, this is single point regulator for higher education. Then, unlike NAAC, NAC, there will be National Accreditation Council for accreditation of the institutes, like giving the result which university is working good or not. Then Higher Education Grants Council, that will give funding and financing of higher education based transparent criteria. And then General Education Council. Okay, so these four different verticals under this Higher Education Commission of India will work to smooth administration of this education scenario. Now, governments and regulation, they will be like UGC ki jagah, they will be like Higher Education Grants Council, and there will be more private philanthropic initiatives. This already I told you. That private philanthropic initiatives like private companies and organizations or big, businessmen, they will be asked to initiate at least 2 universities each for the country. At least they should take their human resource measure from their own university, so they can decide what they want. Like if somebody is steel giant, a businessman, then at least his or her university can have a courses related to the steel industry, I can say. So for them it will be a healthy sign. Now already some private universities are already there, like Manipal Academy. It's already several decades back. BITS from Birla Group, MET, OP Jindal universities in Sonipat. Okay, and then like Symbiosis is already since like 30 years. Sivnadar University, I think HP company Malika hai, and Vada, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, and there will be even more. Geo University is also one of them, is upcoming. And government institutes are already in high repute of government, like ISC, GNU, GNU New Delhi, TIFR, University of Delhi, BHU, this all, So now there will be more list of this private. And government institute will remain, however, no problem. So now coming to the old versus new. So now UGC will be now having HECI. Similarly, this list I took from a newspaper, and it is giving the comparative, like UGC used to give affiliation to colleges to universities can be terminated for contravention of its regulation. It can withhold grants to university for violation of its regulation so far. And now HECI will be empowered to penalize or even shut down substandard institutions. See, this is now very major point. They can penalize, like as I told you, like fake university list of UGC site is having everywhere those 25-30 universities, but UGC has no power to stop them, to raid them or to close them down. But probably HECI will be able to penalize and close down such universities. Okay, and this HECI will have a chairperson, vice chairperson, and 12 members. Okay, appointed by the center, including educationists and member of the industry from industry side also somebody will be there. And chairman's retirement age will be 70, unlike 65 years of UGC chairman retirement of now. So HECI will be now having a better, probably better structure, okay, to run this. So I believe, in my opinion, personal opinion, they are more positive of this new education policy, because immediately after the release of this new education policy, there were a lot of hoopla, a lot of confusions, and a lot of brainstorming sessions and people narrating the negative points always. And I believe that if my glass is half with the water, then I should think at least positive points. Okay, my half glass is at least full. Unlike I should scream down that, oh, my half glass is empty. But with the time, new policies gets revamped, and new inclusion of ideas and rule regulation. My still worry, in my personal opinion, is the execution by bureaucracy. Okay, because execution depends on the bureaucracy system. If bureaucracy is really helping, then probably the execution of new education policy will be more successful and it will be more result oriented. I hope so. Then challenges. What are the challenges to implement NEP? Because this is entangled way now as per the time. Now how we can smooth lines? So when NEP shall come in existence or implemented? This is the good question by everyone. So now Corona problem has led to lot of economic disbalance in the country. Not only our country, whole world is having a problem. So it might slightly delay, I think so. But let's see how quickly we have to start. And this implementation cannot be done by single point of time, because now 3-year graduation PG is still going on. So each and every university and system should start implementing new education policy related recommendation from the class 1 kind of thing, like BSc first year se hi hoga, like unlike BSc third year se aap lagu kar rahe. So it will slowly phase out the previous system and new policy will come up. Now important thing is reframing of course curriculum. कितना जल्दी हम कोर्स curriculum को चेंज कर सकते हैं इस सिस्टम के लिए. What will happen to UGC, ICT, NCERT and other bodies? इनके क्या रोल आएंगे आगे? By what time there shall be doing increment to almost 6% GDP, which is less than 1% right now, expenditure of education. And it is being promised that to 6% GDP of a nation will be spent over education. But we have to wait until what time it will be possible. Skill and vocational education will be, from class 6 onwards as per this new education policy. But it is too early, because in my personal opinion, still the schools are not having proper infrastructure. Means government schools में अभी chair कुर्सी तक भी नहीं है कहीं पे. तो how can you imagine कि वहाँ पे practical aspect के लिए laboratories होंगे? I mean, this is my worry. Recruitment of good teachers and ratio of teachers and students. Good teachers, like you might have seen, few teachers, even they don't know basic general knowledge question. This keep coming on televisions. Ratio of teachers to students is not up to the mark so far. It should be proper, in next, up to what time we have to see. And then autonomy. Many institutes still keep complaining that they are not having autonomy. Higher education institute or universities, they have a lot of constraints by direct and indirect ways from somewhere. So I mean, when they will get the autonomy. Now this education policy is having these two words, creativity and innovation, very often. Okay, and it was very much vocal किया गया था by the people who were narrating the stories of new education policy कि ये बहुत ही creativity and innovation को बढ़ाएगा. Okay, now let's understand what is creativity, innovation and invention. So these three are the noun. Okay, so what is creativity? Let's say first, creativity is the act of turning new and imaginable ideas into reality. Like creativity is just ideas, abstract idea. It is not tangible mass, right? Like my creativity can lie in my brain. I can have a creative in my approach, and I can think something new. I can give some ideas. That invention is the creation of new idea or concept. Invention, okay? And innovation is the process of turning a new concept into commercial success, making like something like even this pen, like innovation. ये किसी ने कैप बनाया होगा. Somebody would have designed it, okay? Somebody have designed this my laptop. So creativity is the act of turning new and imaginative ideas. Ideas keep coming to your brain, okay? Every day we have a lot of ideas, but we don't write it down. That's why we keep forgetting. And good people are always habit of writing the diaries. And in writing diaries, through writing diaries, they keep writing their creativity ideas. Invention is making something, tools or instruments. And innovation, turning new concept into commercial success. So now the easy examples of innovations is tech innovations, जैसे electricity का बनाना, semiconductors, the internet का बनाना. Product innovation like several cars. Now there's a future cars, They are, hybrid cars which can even fly. They can also run on a road. And Tesla company, you might have heard, they are going to make electric cars. They can fly and they can swim also. Aeroplanes, iPad, process innovation like assembly line, Kaizen, and lean startup. Kaizen is a Japanese term, like progress के साथ improve करते रहना, time के साथ. Finance innovations, mortgages, cultural innovation like civil rights, legal innovation like making startup visa, lawsuits, ecosystems innovation like New York City, Silicon Valley. And then top 10 inventions of humankind so far. This I got it somewhere from internet. It says that so far the 10 best inventions by humankind are printing press. Without printing press, सोचिए हम books, knowledge का transfer proper नहीं हो पाता. Light bulb is one of them. That light in our homes inside. Aeroplane, personal computer, vaccines related to the health, automobile, now car, trucks, etc. So that we can transfer people from one place to another and we can translocate even materials. Clock is also one of the best invention. Telephone, refrigeration. Refrigeration is not only inside the home for basic purpose. Refrigeration also lead lot of non-vegetarian food transportation from here to there. And camera, these are the 10 best inventions so far. One can argue, but it is as per one website and I like that. Now coming to the creativity, it is defined as the tendency to generate or recognize ideas, making alternative ideas or possibilities that may be useful in solving problems, communicating with others and entertaining ourselves and others. Now you might have seen one example in this COVID period is the need of ventilators, which is needed when a person undergo choking of the lungs function, pulmonary function in COVID problem. So now people are coming up with several creativity, like they are having motor from the water purification system and they have converted a small Tulu pump of cooler or these water purification system to make them ventilators. So these are the creativity, and creativity sometimes is very much related to necessity. Necessity is the mother of invention, like when we are needing. So like ventilators की research नहीं होती अगर COVID नहीं होता. Now people are thinking of lot of IT and students have come up with new ideas and cheaper options of ventilators जिनकी cost like 10-20,000 a year. Now what are the traits of creativity? Independent and anti-authoritarian, divergent and prospective thinker. Divergent, not convergent. Divergent thinker means like somebody is having a lot of ideas. Like I'm a just neurobiologist by my primary education, brain biologist, but still I'm having my presentation over education. So I can say probably this is my divergent approach. Generally considered intelligent, open to new ideas. So creative people are open to new ideas. Little tolerance for boredom, willing to undertake stimulating challenges, curious and inquisitive nature, self-actualizer, and aesthetically inclined. I mean, they are poets, they go like jungles. And main characteristics of creative people is risk taker. It is very much necessary. जो risk नहीं लेता वो आगे नहीं बढ़ता. Means creative people take risk. You remember the invention of bulb? I think it is being said that more than 1,000 times he was failed. And he was keep trying, and then bulb was invented. And now this bulb is one of the best invention of humankind, as I told you in my previous slide. The dare to fail attitude. Dare to fail. They don't accept as, always same thing. They keep changing. Divergent in their thinking and ideas. Divergent is very necessary. We should keep evolving in different domains. Different than other and one step ahead than the others. I mean, they look different than others. This is true for you all. Like we should not be part of a crowd. We should be one step ahead than the peers around me or around you, so that other people pinpoint you, okay, it's he or she. And there should be impulsive, fickle-minded and and their mind quickly. Okay, I mean, creative people are very fickle-minded. They keep changing sometimes. They don't adhere to one thing for decades and decades. They keep changing. There was one article, while making this PPT a few days back, I came up with this article, Race Differences in Intelligence, Creativity and Creative Achievement. This is a bit controversial, I know, because in human race, how we can say, because nowadays, Nobel laureates are everywhere, okay? Even from Pakistan, there's one Nobel laureate. India has given several Nobel laureates. Europe has maximum. And US is also having maximum. Now, you might have heard the term IQ, intelligent quotient. And in general, like above 80 or like somewhere 90 is quite okay. And somebody who is having more than 100 IQ is supposed to be a good mind person. Few exceptions like Srinivas Ramanujan, the great mathematician who passed away in the age of 32. He was supposed to have more than 160. Einstein was also having almost 140 or 150 IQ. So few exceptional also. Previously it was thought that IQ is the best option to categorize people of their intelligence, but nowadays EQ has also been equally, given importance. EQ is emotional quotient. So this article says that, in the world, let me show you this slide first. This is the world ranking of IQ. Now, Singapore and Hong Kong both. So this is the Mongoloid race of Northeast Asia. Singapore and Hong Kong, it's having maximum per person IQ 108 on an average. See, there could be even fools also, few fools in that area, but on an average, Singapore and Hong Kong has 108. India has, 81th rank also and 81 IQ also. So we are like having only 81 on an average IQ, but we are better than Qatar, which is having only 78. However, Qatar is having maximum, it is one of the richest country, because I had spent my 1 year in Qatar during my postdoc of Brain and Mind Research Institute of Weill Cornell Medical College in Qatar, serving for Middle East countries on behalf of Cornell University. It is one of the richest. See, so the money factor is not necessary to give IQ. It is probably in the race. It is not. It is in a poor country, but 78 IQ is less than India. Now you see, it is this Mongoloid race: Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, China. See, first 6 countries are from this Northeast Asia. And then comes Europe, Switzerland, Netherlands, North Korean also. No, this is controversial, I think so. Then Macau, Iceland, Finland, this all. And then USA. Okay, these are, down. So these are just ranking. So now this says the Northeast Asian, classically Mongoloids and European Caucasoids, have the highest intelligence, as I showed you in my previous table, and the greatest creative achievements, while other races have lower IQ and lesser creative achievements. Means IQ is one of the, directly proportional to the creativity in some way, we can say. This, however, an anomaly. Northeast Asians have higher IQ than Europeans, like 108, Hong Kong and Singapore, as you have seen, but their creative achievements is less. Creativity and achievements and invention, this is highest in case of Europe. Europe, like last 200 or 300 years, like they started Industrial Revolution, lot of discoveries, and last 50 years, US has come up number 1, but before that it was Europe only. So even though IQ is more in the Mongoloids, but it is not related to that more output of creativity. But this article I have just seen, Finland, which is small country in the Europe, is most technologically advanced country, small country. So per person wise, Finland is highest technologically advanced country, Finland. A lot of, discoveries have come up in the last 300-400 years from Finland. Small country, but it was from a report of 72 countries, ranking where the Finland was the number 1. And this ranking was through United Nations Development Program, UNDP. So it was a valid organization, you can say. So now coming to, that is my expertise also, neurobiology and brain biology of creativity and innovation. So this is the brain. Now already you know brain is the seat of intelligence. It is the master organ that controls our whole body, our all functions, personality. Like there are 14 organ systems in the human body, but brain is the number one, I can say. Brain controls everything. So some of you might be from biology background, they might have seen, or somebody would have been fortunate to see a live human brain also. This is the front of the brain. This is this one. This is front. This is the back side. This is the cerebellum, which is necessary for the movement and steady gait and how we are standing against the gravity. This takes care of cerebellum, and this is the cerebrum. And these are gyri and sulci. Gyrus or gyri is a convergence of the brain, and sulci or sulcus is the depressants here. This is actual brain. I'm fortunate to have seen this brain because my postdocs are in the neurobiology, and this is the brain stem, and you can see a lot of this is a just freshly dissected human brain. I think within 15 minutes when a cancer patient has died, and then doctor has taken out this brain. These are two hemispheres, left and right hemisphere. You might have heard several times that left brain part control most of the right side of the part of the body, and these are arteries, cerebral arteries, which gives continuous blood supply. And if there is any blockage of some part of the brain blood supply, it leads to the ischemia or infarction or brain hemorrhage, we can say in general terms. Now this is and brain is very much plausible, very adorable, very smooth. You can squeeze it like a paneer. You're squeezing paneer or tofu. It's very soft, and that's why Mother Nature has very hard cranium to have it inside, because it's very soft. So cranium is very hard so that it remains safe, because we humans keep jumping and falling down. So this is the human brain. So our creativity and innovation also lies in this part, remember. Now this brain is being divided into the 4 lobes in each hemisphere. So one hemisphere is the right and left. So this is the frontal lobe ahead, this is parietal in between, occipital is backside, and temporal is in the sides over the ear. Occipital is the smallest one. This is related to the eye. This is having your visual memory and interpretation of whatever you are seeing, like I'm seeing a screen or so. Frontal is important for this creativity and innovation. Parietal is for senses, our touch senses, thermosensor, like we feel cold, hot, like that, parietal. Temporal is for most oculomotor or hearing purpose, okay? And this I will leave. And these are the 4 parts: frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal. This is the mid-sagittal section. Sagittal section means just half of. If you cut my brain like this, left and right body part, then you will see this all. And gyrus and sulci makes more cortical part of the neurons. That's why number of neurons are more concentrated in human brain. And neurons are the structural and functional unit of the brain. So number of neurons are more, so the functionality of the brain also increased up. Now in the frontal lobe, this superior frontal gyrus, that is this part, it's more related to creativity and innovation. This cortical part. Cortex means bark of a tree. So this is called as a cortical part of the brain. Okay. Now this is the frontal lobe. You can see in a GIF file. I've highlighted with this red mark, and it's related to the motor areas, control of motor areas, like my finger, impulse of voluntary movement. Voluntary movement is like walking, doing some hand gesture or so. It also gives movement of hands and face, facial expression. And then there's a It is having contralateral effect. So my left frontal lobe is affecting my right side of the body, and vice versa. Creativity means spontaneous thinking, like mind wandering, daydreaming, imaging. This all happens in the frontal lobe. Okay, so frontal cortex has long been thought of the hub and center of the creativity. This frontal lobe, this is sagittal section, as it seems to be responsible for many of the functions that contribute to creative thinking and ideas. Prefrontal cortex is very important for social behavior. Social behavior is important to all of us. That's why we humans are being told that as a best social behavior animal. However, some animals also have social behavior, like monkeys do have it, but they are only till a one certain category, and that makes more important. And Broca's area is related to speech center, by which we are speaking. This is also in the frontal lobe. So our speaking is also controlled by this frontal lobe. Now, frontal lobe is related to movement of the body, as I told you, like motor function, hand and legs. It is related to the problem solving, means mathematical calculation. It relates to the concentration, thinking, behavior, personality and mood, and even Broca's area. Broca area is related to the speech formation. Similarly, there is a Wernicke's area, which is part of the temporal lobe, which is for language comprehension, means how we understand one language also. Okay, and these are the other brain parts that I'm skipping because I have some more slides. Now this frontal lobe of the brain, this one, it is the largest of the all four brain lobe. It is the emotional control center and home to personality and decision making ability. So it is related to the problem solving, movement and social interaction. These are three major. And also it is related to the planning ahead, like thinking about futurology, predicting. So the human brain is the only organ which can contemplate its own meaning. Like it is the brain itself which is able to think about the brain. Like I can say kidney cannot think about its own problem. Kidney cannot imagine about its own existence. But it is our human brain only that is giving the meanings of this whole world. So how this is the good, fascinating, aspect of the human brain, that human brain itself not only understands its own meaning but whole world. Monitoring, sustained attention, goal-oriented behavior, working memory, and problem-solving capability. So this leads. Then frontal lobe with creativity, it leads to the memory, learning and emotions, language and judgment. This everything is by frontal lobe. Memory, it lies in the neuron-neuron intersection, that is synapse formation. So synapse formation is everywhere, and human brain has 86 billion neurons. So memory lies somewhere here and there, and we do not know which memory is lying where. Like my class 10th school memory, I do not know which brain part is having, because memory cannot be taken a photograph by neuroimaging. Memory is part of the mind, not the brain. See, brain means tangible mass, which can be seen, which can be felt, which can be taken on your hand. That is the brain. But mind is like a software which lies in a healthy brain. So for having a sound mind, it is necessity to have a healthy brain. Like unhealthy brain cannot have a good mind. Okay, understand? And vice versa. Creativity happens at intersection of the learning and emotions. Like learning and emotion. If you do only learning without emotion, then also it will not make a creativity. Emotions hona zaruri hai. Size and function of areas of the brain change depending on the use and exposure of various elements. Development of creative capacity also correlates with the development of other capacities such as language. Now, how you can inculcate this creativity and innovation in your students? See, you all are teachers, and a teacher is always himself is a student also. Like I'm also a teacher, a university professor, but I keep learning myself every day. Even from students I used to learn, and everywhere I upgrade my mind for better dimensions. Okay, brain is like a hardware. It is more or less same, but mind you keep. So get into the flow. Flow means heightened state of creativity and productivity. Have new experiences, like you are listening me and probably you're making some knowledge from this. Read books. Books is very much necessary. Spend time in the nature. Nature is the best teacher, remember. From nature, everything is there. Everything has just some mathematics. Recently I was watching a movie, The Man Who Knew Infinity, over this Srinivas Ramanujam, a great mathematician. And he says that in the nature, whatever you are seeing at every moment of time, everywhere there is a mathematics. Everywhere there is a symmetry. Like पेड़ की पत्तियों में भी एक symmetry है, उसका भी एक mathematics है. It's called biomathematics also. There is a science now. And adopt creative hobbies. New hobbies should be there. So learn through collaboration. We should allow the students for collaboration. It is true for all of us also. So we should have neuroaerobics exercise, protective phytomedicines also. Meditation is yoga also good. Neuroaerobics is a brain exercise, and we should allow use of all five senses as much as possible while learning. And we should be having habit of multitasking. Change your route to home. This is neuroaerobics exercise, and you can see with my name I have given a TED talk. My first TED talk was on human brain, memory and neuroaerobics. It is related to this topic. And this new education policy is more focused on removing this rote-based learning system to increase the creativity and innovation. So for that purpose, we should have analytical questions, open-minded questions, problem-solving capability, and organization. Okay, this all thing we have to inculcate. And in the brain, there is a limbic system also, which is related to the motivation. And I would like to tell you that motivation is very necessary. So we should motivate the students so that they can have a better creative idea. So we should say thank you, or you have done very good. Now teachers के लिए teacher should be a role model. Teacher should use ICT mode of blended education, not the just bookish knowledge nowadays. And there's a storytelling habit in the teacher should be there. We should motivate. Good sense of humor is necessary in a teacher. So if possibly at least 5 or 10% time of each class should have some sense of humor. We should have habit of polyglot, like learning more than one language, and try to be polymath, like expert of many things. Writing is very necessary, okay, for neurocognition. Meditation is very good. If it is possible, we should emphasize not only for ourselves but for students. And this is learning pyramid that I skipped. Ambiguity tolerance is a phenomena in neuropsychology. Like we should have more than one language, and we should understand the ambiguity, like anything which is having multiple meanings. And this is related to a teacher should have all these properties: courageous, curious, connected, and compassionate. Now my emphasis is over my last few slides, how examination should change. So we as a teacher should now have an open type of questions, and we should avoid using what. Like what is mitochondria? Rather I should use how and why in our questions. We should have questions in a pretext of design, invent, imagine, suppose or create. Unlike rote system of कि आप इस पर निबंध लिख दीजिए या शॉर्ट लिख दीजिए, शॉर्ट आंसर कर दीजिए, इस तरह के क्वेश्चन बनाने चाहिए. And curricular activities are very necessary.